My name is Jennifer Harrison. I am an accounting faculty here at Ensign College, and you will be joining my Accounting 102 course.
Thank you very much, Melanie. Appreciate it.
All right, so we're going to do a little bit of group work here. I'm going to give each table a packet, instructions on said packets. You are to follow them, all right? When it comes to the part that says, like do some journal entry kind of stuff and identify some names and roles, I want you to come up to the board, and I want you to do that work on the board because we're going to all talk about what you discovered. And notice on the back of them, there's numbers. Okay, that's your group number. Okay, so as I write a number, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You walk to where the group number on the back of the page is on the board. Does everybody understand? Okay, we'll start off, and I'll walk around and help as you go.
Wait, how do you set up the inventory? So kind of
Looks like we're done and we're ready.
inventory. Mine's not ready.
Okay, we're going to have each group present their information to us, starting with group 1. Who's my group 1? Group 1, yay. Okay, so while they're presenting, I need you to have their full attention.
I'm not gonna talk.
We got this.
You got this, bro. You got this.
We do.
Are you?
All right. We forgot the document.
Tell us what document you had, and tell us the party and the county did.
So we start with this. Should we start with this one? We first did the Walmart sales receipt. Then we did journal entries from the customer side and the Walmart side. So that's and then we also did a check. Am I right on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's right here we did both from the customers and business side. The last one was from the Stanford Plumbing and Heating Company. So we did the same, customer and.
What kind of document is that?
This is, it's an invoice actually, yeah.
Is it an invoice or a sales receipt?
It's when it's the company billing. When it's a company billing, it becomes an invoice. When it becomes a sales receipt. Yeah.
Okay, so which one of those do you want to go through your accounting? Just pick one. You don't have to do them all. Which one would you like?
So this is the check. The name of is the pay to the order of Amelia Johnson. This is the journal entry from Division 2 Jane Doe. And so she's gonna receive she's gonna pay for the tickets. So she's gonna get some tickets, but she's gonna pay with cash, $200. And from the division of Amelia Johnson, who is gonna receive the money, she's gonna receive cash for the same amount of money, and she's gonna give the tickets to Jane.
It looks like their document has ADP payroll on it. Okay, so what do you think the context of this is? Payroll. Okay, wait. In one of your, we don't want to make things too hard. In one of your chapters, it's probably going to be chapter 9, you're going to learn about payroll. You're going to learn how to do a lot of calculations of all the monies that are kept out of your paycheck and then by the company and then paid to the government. In addition, the company also is assessed additional payroll taxes that they pay to the government. So this is a really important document in your project. It's literally from your project. Just a minute, okay? So you need to look at chapter 9 and feel very confident on how to calculate payroll. You're going to have a payroll question in this. All right? Good job, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, who is project number 2? 2. Okay, show your documents so they can see them. They're kind of small, but if you guys have questions about what their documents are, because you can't see them, ask, okay? But they're pretty general.
So here's our table of transaction. Here's the seller side or the business side. Well, they're both businesses, but here's the buyer side. And then the first one from the seller side, we have cash of 145.
This is a check. Just
Oh.
to,
Yeah,
You
in
should
case,
quiz
you
them
know,
and say,
here-
guess what we have.
here's the model, handsome Latino guy. What is it? It's a check. Yeah. And then it's a utility electric bill check, so it goes on. Well, from our side, it's a utility expense because we used electricity, and then, of course, because we used it, we have to pay them. So we paid in cash. Now the business side, they made the cash because they provided us with the electricity, so they made revenue on that business. And the second one, what is that?
Don't tell him, don't tell him. Make him guess.
Well, he's the model. He gets to like
don't
be
even-
like,
Make him guess from the journal entries. Make him guess. Tell him the journal entries. And we want you guys to guess what the document is.
what is the second transaction?
hey, what is the second transaction, guys? Come on.
Wait, the second one is an invoice.
How do you know?
It's an account receivable.
Oh,
Hey, Donovan,
spot
way to
on.
go, man.
Woo!
Yeah. Donovan.
Okay, continue on.
Yes, it is an invoice, not an investment. And it is from our side, it's a maintenance invoice. So like we did that on accounts payable, meaning we didn't actually pay that in cash. And then, of course, we expensed the money from accounts payable. And then from the business side, they got the money because they, they provided the service.
Oh, they are expecting to receive the money. They have,
Yes.
they have-
Yeah, it's on the accounts receivable, so they're expecting to receive it. And on the sales, and then sales revenue, they're gonna get $145 and they're gonna be charged the tax pay. So, which means they don't get 9.06 of the 154.06. And the last one, what do you think this is, guys?
You know how to do it on every one of them.
check.
We did the check.
No receipt on the payment. All right, yeah.
Very
That's
good.
Self-receipt. Yep.
Yeah, way to go, man. Thanks. Yeah, it is a sales receipt. And then office supplies, cash. We got the supplies, and because we got it, we lost some cash. Well, we exchanged, yeah. Anyway, the people that provided the supplies, they got the money, and then that goes into revenue account because the business made money.
Very nice. Okay, so tell me about your project.
We finished our project.
Okay.
So it was about a real estate valuation contract. So there was a contract date, there was land and a building involved, as well as a agreement price, a cash down payment, as well as, and so there was a balance owed afterwards, and then there was interest.
Wow, there's a
So-
lot going on that document.
Not really.
No? Sounds crazy to me. What do you guys think?
So the buyer would debit land for $25,000. They would debit the building for $125,000. They would credit cash for $50,000. That was the down payment. And then there was a notes payable. That was the $150,000 that was left over.
Oh my word. Does that make sense? This is literally a document in your project. Okay, so the day that happened, Christian, that is exactly what you need to do. But are there going to be other events you think that are going to happen after this? Do you anticipate?
Yeah, so it asks what other documents you might want to need to verify the transaction. And personally, I think you would like a written out statement of the contract of the land, the valuation, those types of things, as well as the payments are due every 6 months. And so you would want to include those invoices and those payments every 6 months.
Right. You're probably going to see a check written every 6 months for the amount, right? Yeah, excellent. Did you happen to notice what chapter that relates to?
No.
I don't know off the top of my head either. So in
Is that
It's
8?
chapter 8, competency
Chapter-
I
1.
think it's 8.
chapter 8,
Oh, competency 8. Yeah,
I think
that's what I
chapter
meant.
8 and 10.
Yeah, okay.
Because you did a bond or a loan, right?
Yeah.
And chapter 10 is all about loans, long-term debt. So 2 chapters you're going to have to understand in order to work through that document. Excellent. Group 3, come on up.
This is the first check that we have. So we only have one check. And for this one, we're paying utilities. And it's being paid to every city utility company. And then we have to do the journal entry. So we debited utilities expense and credit cash for $27.33. And then we have, well, 2 invoices, technically. Invoice 1 was used to buy equipment, and we bought it from IntelliCare Solution. I don't know how to say that. For the journal entry, we debited equipment and we credited accounts payable because it was on account. And then invoice number 2, it was us selling stuff to someone else, and we sold that to Imani. That's the name of a person specifically. And for the journal entry, we debited accounts receivable and we credited sales revenue. All of this was an on-account sale. And finally, we pay taxes. So we have a tax liability report. And I think we learned about this in chapter 7. And we pay that to the California Department of Taxes. For the journal entry, we debited sales tax expense and we credited tax payable for $310.
Okay, so one thing I would change on the last one, since it's paid, right? Did we pay it? Does it say anything about it being paid on there?
Yeah, it will be cash then?
Yeah, so I
see.
need to see cash in there somewhere, don't I? Does that make sense? So it's good to go over these because when you look at these documents, you have to be very careful. Donovan, it was great you caught that was an invoice, so it has to go to AR, right? If it's a sales receipt, we know we're going to have cash going in or out, right? So this one, very good. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was your project one, wasn't it? Yeah. And did you say what chapter? I'm sorry.
We said chapter 7.
Chapter 7, probably that's the short-term debt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or close around that area.
Okay. Way to go. Woo! Okay. Thank you. 4. You guys are 4?
So our sales receipt was for an air conditioning tune-up that Paul's Plumbing was charging Jane Doe for, and the cost for it was $120, and yeah. Who's doing the check?
So wait, whose point of view did you do it from then? You have 2 parties. Whose point of view did you do that journal
We
entry
did
from?
it by Paul's Plumbing point of view,
Thank you.
because they did a service.
Right. Thank you.
So we got also a check, and we did it in a point of view of Brian Buffalo, where we received a check we paid a check of $1,500 for rent expense, and our cash went down $1,500.
Okay.
All right, and then we had an invoice here. It was from East Repair to John Smith because East Repair repaired the bike basically for John Smith, and so we did it from their point of view. And so we had account receivable. We had this 154.06, and also there was some sales tax payable on it. So this is the revenue that they're gonna get, and this is the tax they have to keep for the government.
Perfect. And so they're invoicing them for the whole amount, including the tax. Beautiful.
And then finally, for our bond or our project, it was a bond issue from Goldman Sachs to Safety First, but at a face value of $60,000. The issue value was 0.98. The term was 5 years. Stated rate was 6%, and the interest date was December 31st. For like, what was it, an evidence or something that this transaction actually happened?
Yeah. What other documents would the company have that would relate to this that you can think of?
Perfect. The actual bond,
Okay.
because this is the thing from Goldman Sachs is just a bond issue. So the actual bond and then a cash receipt. And then where you can find this in the text is in chapter 10.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good job. Any questions for these guys? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, chapter 10 is probably going to be important. I don't imagine that most of you know how to account for bonds yet. Yeah, so you probably are going to want to check out chapter 10 to learn how to do that. Because guess what? You're going to do it in your project. You're going to have a bond, and you're going to amortize it. Final project group.
Okay, so for the beginning part, it's a simple check. So we did it from both perspectives. You have Michelle and then the actual ABC Water Company. And so the entry as if you were Michelle is a utility expense of 110 as a debit, and then you credit your cash 110. And then if you're ABC, you debit cash because you're gaining that money, and you'll credit as a revenue. That could be service revenue or something. Fair warning, after learning from all of you, you are all great teachers. We kind of mixed up the next two documents. This document is an invoice and this document is a sales receipt. However, when we did the transactions, we kind of did it backwards. We treated this one as an invoice and this one as a sales receipt.
That's why we're here to learn. Awesome. Okay. Who's going to do the sales receipt? All right.
I'll say,
Which one do you want to explain?
I'm just going to explain these two. So again, this sales receipt, this is an invoice. This invoice did the journal entries for the chairs that they did. And then the project, which was this lengthy, nice memo, basically it was just a bunch of depreciations that needed to be made over the years. So we made the depreciation expenses between the different items that they have here. And then it was asking, it's basically like an email, like, hey, we need to do this, this, and this, and that. And it just asked what things need to be done. So we had some requests, but we didn't know what to do because we needed some, the revenues and inventories and sales. So this just describes we couldn't do this because we don't have this information.
Oh, so included in that email was not only depreciation, but some information about bad debt and warranties?
So
gotcha.
this email asked about depreciation, asked about bad debt expense, warranties expense, and it also asked about notes payable, and we just don't know any of it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
We
so
didn't have
that's,
enough
can I
information.
borrow that document for just a second? So
This one?
how often do you guys think you're going to get emails that request you to do some kind of accounting?
Oh, sorry.
Every day, yeah. So sometimes you really are not going to know the answers, and you're going to have to go back and ask, say, I need some clarification.
Yeah.
Probably in the project, since this is a project document, you will have that information in other parts of the project. You just didn't have it with this. But this is just my way of letting you know, guess what? You need to do depreciation in this project too. What chapter did you find? Did you find it which chapter this goes to?
Chapter 8.
Chapter 8, thank you. Okay, so thank you so much. You guys did an awesome job. Woo! All right, well, when we get back together next week, next Tuesday, it's just going to be the same old, same old. Come in and I'll welcome you and you start working and I answer questions, okay? All right, so we have 20 more minutes or 15 more minutes, so you can go ahead and get started on a chapter, or if there's still tacos downstairs, you can go down and get tacos. Okay, thanks you guys, you did a wonderful job. Give yourselves a big hand. Just put them on the desk, I'll take them.